Good morning, everyone, or hello to everyone else around the world where it's not morning. It is Hundo K time, which means it's almost 5 o'clock. Okay. Hundo K time. Oh, what time is it? Hundo K time. 5 a.m. What do I begin with? The Psalms. How's that? Book of Psalms. We are in 50, 51, and 52. There's something I want to talk about so bad, but in a way, I'm like, why anyway? We'll see. Maybe at the end I'll get inspired. Maybe not. It'll be a really short video. Psalm 50. Worship in spirit and truth. Oh. Well, I didn't even look at that yet. Though that's an overhead. Who knows if it goes with the rest of it. But what I wanted to talk about kind of goes right along with that. All right. Psalm of Asaph. Asaph, okay. The God of gods, Yahweh, is speaking. The God of gods. See how this starts? This is weird. The God of gods. There aren't any other gods. Yes, the God of gods. How does that work if any other gods do not exist? I'm just saying, people can have their own imagination and conjure up other gods in their mind and make idols out of them in the physical, but it doesn't mean that they exist, actually. Right? Yes? So this is weird how this already starts. How does that make any sense? Why is this in the Bible? All right. The God of gods, Yahweh, is speaking. From east to west, he summons the earth. From Zion, perfection of beauty, he shines forth. He is coming, our God, and will not be silent. Devouring fire ahead of him, raging tempest around him. He summons the heavens from on high, and the earth to judge his people. Gather to me, my faithful, who sealed my covenant by sacrifice. The heavens proclaim his saving justice. God himself is judge. This is so, it goes right along with what I wanted to talk about, what I would like to talk about, on how, in the way this is written down, this doesn't have anything to do with God, Yahweh, nothing at all. This is geared towards a all right, let's just keep reading. All right. Listen, my people. Yeah, exactly. I am speaking, Israel. I am giving evidence against you. I, God, your God. It is not with your sacrifices that I find fault. Those burnt offerings constantly before me. I will not accept any bull from your homes, nor a single goat from your folds. For all forest creatures are mine already, the animals on the mountains in their thousands. I know every bird in the air, whatever moves in the fields is mine. Whoa, well, that's interesting now. It starts out weird, then it goes into an area where I have to say, okay, I gotta mark this for. Yeah, that's why. Got to wait. I lost my pen. No, here it is. That's interesting. It is not with your sacrifices that I find fault, those burnt offerings constantly before me. I will not. Okay. For all forest creatures are mine already, the animals on the mountains in their thousands. I know every bird in the air, whatever moves in the fields is mine. Okay. I know where this is going with the poem and how it started. But if you just pull this little bit out of here, right? Yes. It isn't just about the reputation of God, obviously. It's also on how things are twisted around to make them fit in the narrative of someone. Usually someone in a higher power. To do what? To control the masses on the lower end of everything, right? Yes? Interesting. If I am hungry, I shall not tell you, since the world and all it holds is mine. Am I to eat the flesh of bulls or drink the blood of goats? Let thanksgiving be your sacrifice to God. Fulfill the vows you make to the Most High. Then, if you call to me in time of trouble, I will rescue you and you will honor me. Yep, see, that's where it's going. But to the wicked God says, what right have you to recite my statutes, to take my covenant on your lips, when you detest my teaching and thrust my words behind you? You make friends with a thief as soon as you see one. You feel at home with adulterers. Your conversation is devoted to wickedness and your tongue to inventing lies. You sit there slandering your own brother. You malign your own mother's son. You do this, and am I to say nothing? Do you think that I am really like you? I charge you, indict you to your face. Think it out, you who forget God, or I will tear you apart without hope of a rescuer. Honor to me is a sacrifice of thanksgiving. To the upright I will show God's salvation. Why not say, all right. The flip-flopping back and forth between I am telling you and it's God talking. Then it goes back to God as the third person. It's a weird one. And again, I've come to think, or rather experience, a lot of what is in the Old Testament here. There seem to be a lot of rules for whom exactly, and they don't apply to which group. I'm just saying. So again, yes, there's a lot of good stuff actually in this, but in the way that it started out, it there is an agenda behind all this, and that is what's so sad. Psalm 51, a prayer of contrition. For the choir master of David, when the prophet Nathan had come to him because he had gone to Bathsheba. All right. Have mercy on me, O God, in your faithful love. In your great tenderness, wipe away my offenses. Wash me clean from my guilt. Purify me from my sin. For I am well aware of my offenses. My sin is constantly in mind. Really? Against you, you alone, I have sinned. I have done what you see to be wrong. You sin. We sin. Did you just hear this? For I am well aware of my offenses. My sin is constantly in mind. Against you, you alone, I have sinned. I have done what you see to be wrong. So how is this meant? Oh, I acknowledge there are no other gods. And so the one God, the sin committed is against you. The thing is, yeah, okay, no. What we do is we sin against each other. What does that have to do with God? Yes? God's just in a position of basically, a parent who has to say, no, you can't do that to your brother or sister. Now, don't do that. Why are you doing that? Don't you know the consequences of that later on? You really think you're going to get away with it? You know? So it isn't, God's not an enforcer. God is not an enforcer. He's not a executioner. He's not even a judge. He warns you. He says, hey, wait a second. In a bigger scheme of things, this is not going to fly. Your behavior will not fly anymore. Huh? Yes? Anyway. But again, in the way it is in here, what's God? What does God have to do with any of that? And how is that affecting God when it comes down to it? If we want to believe what we read in number 50, in Psalm 50, where God proclaims, everything's already mine. What do you got? Who do you people think you are? Right? Yes? Well, okay then. I'm just saying. I'm not sure what people do with this now. How was it applied? Why is this in here? How was it applied at the time? Was it open like this, or was it in the temple? But even if it was in the temple, for what reason did the rest of the people hear any of this? Interesting. Or were they just ignorant? They didn't know what was going on. All they knew is what? Okay, talk about that later. All right. Oh, Father, I'm really trying. All right, so where are we here? Okay. That you may show your saving justice when you pass sentence, and your victory may appear when you give judgment. Remember, I was born guilty, a sinner from the moment of conception. Okay. But you delight in sincerity of heart, and in secret you teach me wisdom. Purify me with hyssop till I am clean. Wash me till I am whiter than snow. Let me hear the sound of joy and gladness, and the bones you have crushed will dance. Turn away your face from my sins, and wipe away all my guilt. God, create in me a clean heart. Renew within me a resolute spirit. Do not thrust me away from your presence. Do not take away from me your spirit of holiness. Oh, what did I just read here? So, we're sinners already from the time of conception, right? Okay, all right. People can believe that out there. I said I've kind of got my own idea or own ideas. Well, in the way that I have experienced God, our heavenly parent, our heavenly Father, Manitou, the Creator, the artist of it all, the master of it all. Call it what you want, the teacher of the universe. That's not true. We're not sinners from the beginning, born with original sin. Yes, there's a what? It isn't a stain on everyone's soul or heart or shoulders or spirit or whatever it is. It's a warning. Right? It's a remember. It's more a memory, right? A memory that still needs what? Restoring. Right? Needs to be redone, rethought in a way. But again, you can't have it both ways. Yet, do not take away from me your spirit of holiness. Okay, if you're created in the image of God, all of us, right? Every one of us. Well then, where does the sin right of conception come in? How does this make sense? I'm just saying, right? Yes. When I see my youngest granddaughter, and then doing this condition as well, I see her little being, right? Yes, that she is such a happy child. Smiles, just smiles. And the only time she gets fussy and cranky is, I've already said that, she's hungry, her bottom doesn't feel well because she needs a change or something. Well, yeah, sometimes. Say right after she pooped or a little stomach cramp while she's pooping or something. Okay, just saying. And when she's tired. Yes, when okay, I need to lay down now. Everybody, all right, Rosie, we're done playing. I'm tired now. Let's go and sit on the couch so you can cuddle me and sing to me, and so I can go just happily to sleep. She can't say that. So of course she's using what? What I've said this before. Then instead of people just okay, this child has no reason to just be already what willful about things or unhappy about things, and that's why they're crying. That's why they're already having temper tantrums. At what age exactly? Yes. Oh, she's 6 months old. So I look at her and I'm going, there's. She communicates in the best way that she knows how. When it affects her, right? Of course, that everything just affects her right now. She can't. She doesn't. and uh, and it's amazing. And I find it again when I hear other people talk, not here, so just in general, about you just have to make them go to sleep when you want to, right? Yes, so that what you get your night's sleep, your 8 hours back or 6 hours of sleep back after you had just had what, a baby. Well, then why do you have babies? You're expecting them to be alone, lonely, right? Immediately, on their own, without the embrace of their parents. Babies are not used to that. They had this warm, fuzzy feeling in mommy's tummy for 9 months growing. Yes, 9 months. And then they're a few months old, and immediately the people think they need to sleep in their own room, in their own crib, and they need to be sleeping through the night. That's blah, blah, blah. What are you people nuts? Why do you do that to your babies? Or think that's, huh? Oh, co-sleeping, that's a bad idea. Really? Why? I did that with all of my children. Nothing ever happened. Of course, that instinct is there, and there's ways to make it safer and all that, but none of my babies slept alone in their cribs, this and that. And if there was a crib, so I would have a couple hours, 3 hours where I could just, the crib was in the room too, right next to me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. Then we had more children. The bed just became bigger. We just made bigger bed. Okay, I'm just saying. Right? Yes? Yeah. So, here, one part says, I'm a sinner. Right? On conception, I'm a sinner. Seriously? This is how God designed us? Oh, that's because of Adam and Eve. Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a minute anymore. Yes, there's a lot of things that I'm getting out of my head because they're just excuses to not be a better human being. Yes? Yeah, just saying. I do believe that. I see it often enough. Right? Okay. So, and then down here it says, right? What does it say exactly? Do not thrust me away from your presence. God would never do that. Do not take away from me your spirit of holiness. Yes, the question is then, what and who and when do we suddenly become or made into sinners? Huh? Yes? Okay. Give me back the joy of your salvation. Sustain in me a generous spirit. I shall teach the wicked your paths, and sinners will return to you. Oh, that's good. That's actually good. I gotta mark that one. Ooh. Did I mark one over here? I did. Okay. Now, why would I mark that one? Well, let's read it one more time because it's actually good guidance. Kind of goes right along with what I just said beforehand. Give me back the joy of your salvation. Sustain in me a generous spirit. I shall teach the wicked your paths, and sinners will return to you. Deliver me from bloodshed, God, God of my salvation, and my tongue will acclaim your saving justice. Lord, open my lips, and my mouth will speak out your praise. Let's remember that's when the prophet, I have a feeling that this is there may be some of this stuff coming from the prophet Nathan. And again, it's too bad that even Nathan, why does everybody have to fall prey to the power of the few on top? Huh? On the top of the pyramid. Social pyramid. Huh? Mm. And again, though, see, that one part was good. And here, again, and my mouth will speak out your praise, but only if you deliver me from bloodshed. Right? It's a condition. There's a condition attached to God, from a person to God. This is wrong. This is really, really, really wrong. Sacrifice gives you no pleasure. Burnt offering you do not desire. Sacrifice to God is a broken spirit. A broken, contrite heart you never scorn. That's interesting. In your graciousness, do good to Zion. Rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Then you will delight in upright sacrifices, burnt offerings, and whole oblations. Okay, maybe you guys got what I just got, but all right. And young bulls will be offered on your altar. Let's keep going. Man, I'm not even going to get into this one. Man, that is just... Psalm 52. The fate of cynics. Okay. For the choir master, poem of David. You see, the fate of cynics? Yes. That had to be invented as well for people like me, right? Yes. Yeah. Gosh, no. No. We don't want people to start thinking for themselves. When Doeg the Edomite went and warned Saul, David has gone to Abimelech's house. Poem. That's a poem of David. What? White? Okay. And it gives us a little bit of, I guess that when Doeg to the Edomite went and warned Saul. All right, what? So why did the poem come into being? And it had to do with that. All right. Ugh, dear me. Oh, look, we got pauses too. Why take pride in being wicked, you champion in villainy, all day long plotting crime? Your tongue is razor sharp, your artist in perfidy. You prefer evil to good, lying to uprightness. It says pause. You revel in destructive talk, treacherous tongue. That is why God will crush you, destroy you once and for all, snatch you from your tent, uproot you from the land of the living. It says pause. The upright will be awestruck as they see it. They will mock him. So much for someone who would not place his reliance in God, but relied on his own great wealth and made himself strong by crime. So the way I understand this here is a poem of David. Okay, so David made the poem, and Doeg the Edomite went and warned Saul. David has gone to Abimelech's house. So is Saul composing this poem, which then Doeg the Edomite as a warning took to Saul. I don't know. But I like a flourishing olive tree in the house of God. Put my trust in God's faithful love forever and ever. Again, as I said, I'm not sure who wrote this. Is it David? It says poem of David. Okay, it could be poem of David. Could be a poem to David. That Saul did. Okay, that doesn't sound right, does it? Well, in any case, the one thing that comes to my mind, yeah, since I'm not sure exactly who to whom, it says here, but I like a flourishing olive tree in the house of God. Put my trust in God's faithful love forever and ever. That sounds great. That's great. That's a great little part right there. I should mark it. I'm not going to because of the whole thing. But the one thing to say about this, if you trust God, then why don't you trust in the fact that supposedly, and see, that's what I'm saying, you guys weren't as dumb as we think you were at that time. Or that we are being told, well, at that time, the people didn't understand. They couldn't understand. I think they understood quite well. Because who, according to the prophets, and isn't that, appointed Saul as king? Wasn't that God? So God made a mistake because Saul turned out to be such a whatever. Oh, was he? Or was it that David wanted to be king and the people wanted David to be king? Oh, because another prophet said, or maybe the seventh said, oh, he needs to be king. Saul needs to go. And then all the conflicts started happening, right? Was there any beforehand? Sounded to me like when we read about that earlier before, that Saul was actually, there's a reason why Saul was chosen by God. Yes? Yet here they talk about trusting God in his faithful love, and I don't blah, 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 blah. Yet what are they doing? Yes? Replacing each other, this and that. Who knows what? Yes? I'm just saying. It's, I mean, the fate of cynics? I don't know. All right, let's just keep reading. I shall praise you forever for what you have done. Okay. And shall trust in your name, so full of goodness in the presence of your faithful. Yeah. If God does what the people want God to do, then they're willing, right? Yes? Okay. Wow, wonderful. Oh, that's so sad. And I'm so smiley, and, well, you can't cry all the time. That waste of tears. So that's it on that. And now I get to go into what I wanted to say. Just quick. If it's not if in certain places of the world conflict rights itself, then it doesn't take long, and conflict arises somewhere else in the world, right? Yes. So right now we have another country in the world that's on the map for this or that, and this, I don't know what, and then so, oh, this is why the people are unhappy there, and blah blah blah, ba dee da dee da 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 da, as if we don't have our own free will, as if, huh? All right. Hmm. When I read the Old Testament here, right, especially when it never even stops. It just continues on. In the Psalms, what are the Psalms all about? Does it talk about the common people? Oh, it tells them what to do, right, in a way. But where does all this stuff come from? Has any of these prayers or poems or songs been written by just a itty bitty little guy somewhere on the farm. Oh, hey, you know what? I got 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I took care of my sheep. I took care of my garden. I took care of everything else. The kids, the wife, yes. And now I'm going to sit down and write a poem or a prayer. Yeah? Who wrote all this down? People on top of the food chain, right? Yes? Of course. Kings and maybe queens, I don't know. I doubt it. It's all men. Kings and ministers and prophets and maybe generals, right? Yes. I don't know what else was there. Priests. Okay. That's about it. And it seems that everything else in there as well. Right? It's about the kings and their conflict with their ministers and their kids and their wives right? Yes? Okay. Not much about the common people in their life. Just not. Right? They're kind of like, what you got to be king of something, right? Yes? You can only be on top of a pyramid like that as the ruler of whatever, president, and if you got a bunch of people underneath you, right? Yes? Yeah. Otherwise, what? You'd have to be happy with just being the head of your household? Okay. Just say. Has anything changed? Oh yeah, we don't really have whatever kings or queens are still out there, and in the actual kings and queens, it's just a cultural thing that people still want. Oh, this is so cute to have a king and a queen and a castle. Okay, all right. But really, we don't have that anymore. Right? We don't. What's a president? And then all the cabinet members, the ministers, and what prime ministers, um, and then the Congress and the Senate, and then different countries it's a little different, and the House of Lords in England. Okay, I don't know if that still exists or not. Couldn't care less. And what are they doing? Yes. All around the world. I say it's like it's a weird one on how one sits. Yeah. Funny thing is, it used to be that there was a balcony, right, in a courthouse, a balcony, and the people, right, just the common people, wouldn't be able to go down below and sit right in front of the judge's bench and this and that, right? Only the important people, right, the nobles, and everybody else could be up on the balcony, right? You got to look down on everybody. Yeah, I kind of like that one. It's a funny one, right? and and you just kind of watch. It's just you as someone sitting on the balcony looking down on the people that are supposed to get along with each other, make decisions for a whole country and the people, right? Yes, and the planet as well. Uh, 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 Excel in the mastery of organizing, right? Yes, and oiling. Yeah, I'm just saying it that way. Uh, on how to live under God's guidance. Yes, yeah. But what are they actually doing? What are they doing? The amount of money that is wasted, out there that could be used again. What's money anyway? But it could be used to do so much good. Yes, when it comes to we need to take care of the people that are being abandoned by other people, for example, especially children. Yes, why is it that orphanages throughout history. I mean, you go as far back as whatever. Orphanages are one of the worst places. Worst institutions. You know, it's not much different here in this country when it comes to foster care and all that. It's a bad run organization. I can tell you that right now. I've seen into it. It's true. There's a lot of good people working there, yes. But again, they're fighting against things that are really tough to get anywhere. Yes? And then eventually just try to do the best. Yeah? Yeah. There too. There are higher ups in all these organizations. They're not lacking a thing. But for the purpose of these programs, these organizations, this and that, gets more and more lost as it actually gets down to the actual problem. Isn't that something? Yeah. Well, anyway, so I'm just an observer. I'm not into politics. I just watch. But I do know what is right and what is wrong. And I do know that in the way that we have replaced kings with other just figures of president. They're called presidents, or ministers, prime ministers, and whatever else. There's no difference. Still, there's no difference. And the conflicts that are going on in their courts, right, in their castles, and the corruption, the scheming, the murder, oh yeah, the lying, the stealing. It's all there. No different than what went on in the Old Testament. Still like that. All around the world. It's still like that. It doesn't matter what religion they got. It's just like that. That seems to be a very consistent thing all around the world. Yes? Well, there you go. Some common ground. That's interesting. All right. Said enough. I just observed. That's what I observed. Yes? It's very sad that we cannot have some good people in power. Yes? Yeah. Always turns into what? Oh, but we trust God. I said, we trust God. No, don't. Don't trust God at all. Yes? Well, anyway. So, we'll have to get back to that. What do I always say? Most of what I mentioned, what is going on in the higher courts all around the world, right, is what? The breaking of the 10 Commandments. You're not born as a sinner. I'll tell you that right now. But we're sure good making ourselves into sinners. Yes? Let's just acknowledge that. And then we start working towards better. And the best thing is probably to start with our children. Yes? Yeah. All right. I have a lot to teach us, by the way. Anyway, that's all I have to share this morning. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you, and guide you, and embrace you with love. And I will talk to you all, God willing, tomorrow.